the Chinese Civil War, aka China IRL Hunger Games. Imagine being stuck in an endless group chat argument, except instead of passive-aggressive texts, it's millions of actual people fighting for 2 decades straight. Welcome to the Chinese Civil War, spanning from 1927 to 1949, where the communists and nationalists squared off like it was the world's worst family reunion. On one side, Mao Zedong and his Marxist glow up. On the other, Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists trying desperately to keep it together. The plot twist? Both sides paused their beef to fight Japan in Wode, then immediately unfollowed each other and resumed the brawl. When the dust finally settled, about 8 to 10 million were dead, and the Kuomintang packed their suitcases for Taiwan, which is basically like rage-quitting a video game, only to start a new save file on a different island. Politics is war without bloodshed, while war is politics with bloodshed, Mao once said, which is both extremely metal and a little too on the nose here. The aftermath: China became the People's Republic we know today, and the phrase cross-strait tensions entered the global chat. Teachers like to call this period transformative, but for everyone living it, it was more like horrifically stressful main character energy. The Russian Civil War, or Revolution's Endgame. Picture Russia in 1917. Everyone's tired, hungry, and absolutely done with Tsarist drama. Enter the Bolsheviks, casting themselves as the It Party and kicking off a group project from hell known as the Russian Civil War. Red Army versus White Army. Soviet Union origin story vibes. But wait, there are more flavors. Greens, anarchists, foreign armies just sort of vibing for their own interests. The casualty scoreboard is horrifying. Around 712 million dead, mostly ordinary people who probably just wanted some bread and Wi-Fi. The whole thing is like if Game of Thrones and Mad Max had a love child. Famine, mass migrations, entire cities collapsing. And yes, there were literal white Russians. Not the cocktail, the failed Instagram influencers of Russian politics. Even Winston Churchill dropped a hot take, calling Bolshevism a plague bacillus. Spoiler, the Bolsheviks win, power up as the Soviet Union, and everyone gets assigned to mandatory gloominess for the next 70 years. Honestly, it's the hangover after the 1917 Revolution Party nobody wanted, but history loves an anti-hero arc. The American Civil War, aka Unfriending Gone Nuclear. America, 1861, family drama goes supernova. Basically, the North and South are arguing about states' rights, but everyone knows it's low-key all about slavery. Suddenly, secession is a thing, the ultimate rage quit. Cue a bloody unfollow that claims 620,000, 750,000 lives. No small potatoes for the 19th century. Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address is straight up iconic. A government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Translation: can we please chill and stay together? Not only does the North win, major flex, but slavery is officially cancelled. About time. Reconstruction follows. Think, let's fix this toxic relationship, but with more awkwardness and way more violence. The war basically transforms the US into the federal powerhouse we know, for better or worse. The Confederacy, deleted from history, memified forever. It leaves Americans with the ultimate "we don't talk about that" family secret, and flags that prompt way too many awkward Facebook debates. The Spanish Civil War, or fascists versus vibes. Ready for a prequel that makes Star Wars look basic? The Spanish Civil War, 1936-1939, saw left-wing Republicans battling Franco's far-right nationalists. But this wasn't just local drama. Hitler and Mussolini jumped in for Team Franco, while the Soviet Union and random idealistic volunteers, hello, George Orwell, backed the Republic. Basically, the entire world popped popcorn to watch Spain implode. Fun fact, Picasso's Guernica was painted after the Nazis tested out their new bombs on a Spanish village, art therapy for literal trauma. Roughly 500,000 or 1 million died, and Franco's regime would rule with iron memes until 1975. Spanish society was left with wounds that basically said, "Hey, let's never talk politics at dinner again." As Hemingway wrote about Spain, there was no safety. The war also inspired a million novels, paintings, and memes about choosing teams, always the wrong one in retrospect. The Nigerian Civil War, or starvation, secession, and suffering Altusam. Welcome to Nigeria, 1967. Biafra, the southeast, tries its luck at new country, who dis? Only to be met with a hard nah from the Nigerian government. Things escalate quickly, and by escalate, we mean 3 million deaths. Most weren't even from combat, but famine. The world's intro to starvation as war strategy. Keep in mind, post-colonial Africa was already a patchwork of borders drawn by people who couldn't point to Nigeria on a map. The Biafran War was less about ideology and more about oil, ethnicity, and the fact that sometimes British imperialism just hits randomize. Jaw-dropping fact, the haunting photos of starving Biafran children basically invented Western guilt-based fundraising. "There are no victors in war, only survivors," said Chinua Achebe, literally from the region. The trauma still echoes in Nigerian politics today, and every time someone asks, "What's a Biafra?" The Lebanese Civil War. So many factions, so little chill. Picture the world's worst reality show. 15 years, 120,000, 150,000 dead, and every religious group demanding their own screen time. Welcome to Lebanon, 1975-1990, where the Christians, Muslims, Druze, and more all decided sharing is not caring. At one point, Syria and Israel both jumped in, because why not? Spoiler, made things worse. Palestinians, militias, and even US Marines had cameo appearances. Beirut was once called the Paris of the Middle East. By 1990, it felt more like Mad Max Urban Deluxe. The peace agreement was basically everyone saying, "Let's just not kill each other for a bit." Afterward, people agreed on two things. The food is still good, and no one wants to talk about politics. Bonus quote, "In Lebanon, never make predictions, especially about the future." Lebanese proverb, still too real. The Rwandan Civil War, 100 Days of Hell. 20th century Africa's most infamous tragedy, the Rwandan Civil War, 1990-1994, was technically a Tutsi-led rebellion against the Hutu government, but everyone remembers the genocide. An estimated 800,000, 1 million people in just 100 days. Yep. In the time it takes to binge every season of The Office, a nation tore itself apart. It's a sickening reminder of how propaganda plus paranoia, violence on a level that defies comprehension. Romeo Dallaire, UN commander, said, "I shake hands with the devil," to describe watching it unfold helplessly. The rest of the world stood by, proving procrastination isn't just for homework. Rwanda emerged as a country rebuilt on trauma therapy, and never again energy. If you ever doubted the banality of evil, thanks Hannah Arendt, Rwanda will make you believe. The Syrian Civil War, when the Arab Spring turned into Game of Drones. Spring 2011. Syria protests against Bashar al-Assad. At first, it's all about reform and democracy, and then it turns into a firestorm starring too many armed groups to count. Over 500,000 dead, millions strewn across the globe as refugees, and every major power jumping in like it's Call of Duty, Geopolitics Edition. Russia, Iran, Turkey, the USA, all in the chat, all with their own side quests. The original enemy has mutated 47 times. Assad's regime, various rebels, ISIS, Kurds, the works. It's a living example of misery loves company, but only if company brings airstrikes. Every ceasefire lasts about as long as your last situationship. In war, truth is the first casualty, said Aeschylus. Let's add, and hope, patience, and every sense of normalcy. The only certainty? Historians in the future are going to need a bigger flowchart. Found this video interesting? Leave us a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Let us know what we should cover next in the comments below.